inside the synagogue. By the way, you see that most of the restorations are being done by the original stones of the synagogue. Sure.
No, so two things. One, those of you who are in Hebrew school, paying attention, for our mitzvah projects, what's the story I tell you about Isaac and Gloria and how the world was created? Anyone remember about the spheres and explode? Go ahead, tell me.
Well, God had like some...
10 was trying to create the world and created 10 big vessels.
Yeah, and then they exploded and they created the earth and everything, and then the idea is to try and put back those vessels by doing tikkun olam.
Exactly, on the nose. So, Isaac Luria said the way that in his idea of how the world was created, that God had this plan. There was these 10 vessels. God was going to before the vessels, God is everywhere. God has to create a place where God isn't, so there's a spot for the world. It's called Tzimtzum. God withdraws to make a place, and into that place he creates these vessels. I mean, they're sizes of galaxies, not vessels. And into the vessels is going to put the divine light, but God, this is a fascinating idea, God miscalculates. And the energy, the light comes and goes into the vessels, and the vessels shatter. And so the world is a broken world. It's not the way God planned it. And this explains why there's evil in the world. It's not because God makes evil, but because the world is broken. It was broken from the beginning. And the job of human beings is the takein ha'olam, et ha'olam, we say now tikkun olam, to repair the world. And literally, by doing mitzvot, every time you light candles, every time you keep kosher, every time you give tzedakah, every single time, that sends one more of those original sparks back to the source. Every generation has a quota of what they're supposed to fill. We don't know what it is. And when it's all finished, the Messiah will come. And what Gloria's theology does for us is it gets God off the hook for evil, because even though it was a mistake, but God doesn't do it on purpose, and it gives human beings a tremendous purpose in life. Because everything you do not only is being nice, but helps then to literally, one step at a time, make the world a better place. And the Reform movement has taken over the idea of Tikkun Olam. We're much less interested in ritual, although it's back again, and much more interested in doing things to make the world a better place. If we leave the world a better place than we found it, we have had a successful life. We're one step closer to the Messiah. It's why we went to table. It's why we physically did that. You may not think I did anything big. Okay, 1,000 pounds of onions. It will feed someone for a few weeks. It will feed a few families. But actually, literally, every time you pick up that onion and put it in one more spark. That's the way Luria understood this. Maybe I'm oversimplifying a little, but that's basically the idea. And they all came here from Spain with some of these mystical ideas because they were fleeing the Inquisition. This is not really the synagogue that's affiliated with. He was here, but he has then he built one, or they had one down around the corner where he ended up praying. But if you stand up and look, that's Mount Meron. We drove by it. That's where we said it was the burial of Shimon Bar Yochai. Great. He was supposed to be the author of the Zohar. And he was a very important figure. So on Shabbat evening, Luria, all of his followers, they would dress all in white, which is why you do it at Jewish summer camps. You dress all in white. They would dress all in white. It's purity. On Shabbat, they would walk out to the field singing. They wrote, Alkabetz wrote this prayer, Lecha Dodi, Kamai, beloved, to greet the bride. They would walk out, sing, looking right there at Mount Meron, sing and escort the Sabbath bride back and pray. And there were people who couldn't, they would stay if they couldn't walk. But this is exactly here. So I really want you to look. When you sing Lecha Dodi on Friday nights in synagogue, and I sometimes talk about, like the mystics of Sfat, here we are. Like the mystics of Sfat standing right in this place, looking out at that mountain, singing this song. So you can say you were here, you can even sing Lecha Dodi right now. You'd say, I was there and I sang it. It's not almost Shabbat, but that's one of the reasons we come here. And it's the connection. Okay?
The second, remember we are talking about mystery stories. You know, during 1948 war, a cannon hit the synagogue and the shrapnel went into the synagogue that was crowded. The people, luckily nobody was wounded. You can see the hole through the glass even today.
I'll tell you one more quick story about this synagogue. Sorry, you didn't say it one more time. Tell you fast. Because when we were here a number of years ago, in February, with a group, and we were staying down at the Ruth Rimon, which is the only hotel in the Jewish Quarter. So we were there. It was snowing. We stood out on Friday night in the snow. I made them stand outside on the balcony and sing L'Chaudi in the snow because I wanted to do it. In the morning, the cobblestone was so slippery they didn't want to walk very far. We came, this is as far as we could get. We came to this synagogue to pray. The women went upstairs, the men went in here. One of the families with us had grandparents. The reason they came on the trip is because he had cancer and he wasn't really sure he was going to ever really get to do it. So he took his family, brought them here. He's still alive today, thank God. But we're down here. They're upstairs. The woman, by the way, was the original Fruma Sarah from the Fiddler on the Roof, on Broadway. So they're upstairs. He's down here. They say, is there a Levite here? We had a Levite. We were reading Deuteronomy. It's 10 Commandments. He gets the Aliyah. They're doing the 10 Commandments. His wife is up in the balcony crying, sobbing, because he's come to Sfat. He's got this Aliyah, and she doesn't know if he's going to be alive a year later. And crying. Up in the women's section, some local woman comes over to her and says, "What's wrong?" And she tells us the story, speaking in English. Why? I said, where are you from? I'm originally from the Bronx. Really, me too. I don't usually come to this synagogue. I usually go to my daughter's synagogue on the other side, but it's so slippery. I came here. We're in the Bronx. One thing after another. It turns out this woman from Sarah and this young woman's mother were best friends back in the Bronx. Used to live next to each other, and her brother used to. It was unbelievable. This is the kind of stuff that happens in Sfat. So we find these services, go up to get them out. They won't come out because they're so busy talking about this whole thing. And it's the kind of stuff that happens just is amazing. These coincidences, they maybe are coincidences and maybe aren't coincidences. It's the kind of things that happen here for our group. 8 years ago. Anyway, we should go in. The idea of that thing that was the shrapnel, the story is that the guy I don't remember which part of the service, whether it was a Rabbi, he bowed. And as he bowed, the shrapnel went over his head. And if he hadn't bowed at the point of the service he was supposed to bow, he would have been killed. And there's a hole right there in the wall you can see when you go inside. So come and see it.
Go and see.
What? Fragments of bullets.